Okay, so I'm gonna show you real quick what it's doing. Now I can run the motors individually with no problem. But it's not until I try to run them together that the problem comes in. So when I go to motor test, okay, so if I test this motor, no problems. If I test motor 2, no problems. Motor 3, motor 4. Now, if I try to run 2 motors at a time, sometimes they'll run for a minute and then they'll shut down. But I'm just going to put them on all 4 so I can show you what it'll do. Now, they'll spin up. But when I lower the throttle, watch. Right here. See this? It starts doing this. And I'm just throttling up and down normally, like I was doing before. I don't know if you can see my throttle. But it'll do that until I unplug it. If I restart the flight controller and reconnect, it'll do the same thing over again. So I'll just do it one more time just to show you. Now, sometimes when I run 2 motors, I try to run the same motors in the same direction. When I was fixing my ESC direction, and 2 motors going the same way would sometimes work for a while. But eventually, see that those 2 will work for a decent amount of time. I didn't test how long. And if I switch to the opposite two motors, I got the same effect where they would run together as though they were working on their own signal separately. But when combined, something goes wrong. So if I try to run motors 1 and 2, which are opposite directions, then the problem will occur. It's not doing it now. I'm going to try motors these two. Okay, well, maybe I was incorrect. If as long as I'm running 2 motors, it'll work. But if I add a third motor, and then the fourth motor, that's the problem. The fourth motor, when I add all 4 motors, starts doing this crazy stuff. So I'm not going to keep doing that. And if I continue to test, I don't think it'll work now. Once it goes out, it just stays out. I didn't test it a lot. After it went out like that, I just stopped. But since I'm on video now, you can see I'm just going to run a couple of quick tests after it's acted up in 4 motors. So 1 motor, we sure it works together. 2 motors. And I'll select 2 different motors this time. And the other 2. There it goes. And I don't know if I went like high on my throttle and it happened, because it did do it when I went high on the throttle. But I'll try 1 motor and go high on the throttle. No problems. Yes, it is. After I went high on the throttle and came down and tried to go back up, it won't spin. Let me disable it again. Let me put my controller here to see. Maybe you can see this. I'll enable the motor test again. I'll try motor 2 this time. Go full throttle and come back down. Spent out. And I don't know if it's because I don't have props on there or anything. Maybe you can help explain this, because and it did that before. Flight controller just reset. So not sure. Once again, the reason I found out about this is because I was, after I configured everything and tested the motors and it was running okay, I decided to plug the battery in without it being connected to KISS and just run it straight off the controller. And that's when I found out. So I'll do that once after this, and then I'll cut it short. And that's what it does on 4 motors. So I'll disconnect. And I'll show you just with the controller itself. And that's how I initially found out when it did that. And then after it arms, it stays that way. Until I reset it. So, sorry for the long video, but that's what it is.